The fourth Republican primary debate featured several candidate quarrels and new lines of attack as the clock ticks down to the Iowa caucus on January 15th. Here are the biggest takeaways from the Alabama matchup. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley fielded the most attacks during the debate as her poll numbers rise and she gains new donor support and endorsements. She was hit by both Governor Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy for her recent meetings with large donors and the support she's gained from Democrats and centrists.
Her donors, these Wall Street liberal donors, they make money in China. They are not going to let her be tough on China, and she will cave to the donors. She will not stand up for you.
First of all, he's mad because those Wall Street donors used to support him, and now they support me. The second,
Ramaswamy further hammered Haley for her support of Ukraine and its war with Russia.
The thing that Joe Biden and Nikki Haley have in common is that neither of them could even state for you 3 provinces in eastern Ukraine that they want to send our troops to actually fight for. Look at that. This is what I want people to understand. These people have, she has no idea what the hell the names of those provinces are, but she wants to send our sons and daughters and our troops and our military equipment to go fight it.
The former biotech CEO even went after Haley's previous comments about her plan to verify social media accounts with the first and last names of individuals.
The only person more fascist than the Biden regime now is Nikki Haley, who thinks the government should identify every one of those individuals with an ID. That is not freedom, that is fascism, and she should come nowhere near the levers of power, let alone the White House.
As in previous debates, former President Donald Trump was left relatively unscathed by his opponents, with the exception of former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
And yet, I've got these 3 guys who are all seemingly to compete with, Voldemort, he who shall not be named. They don't want to talk about it. The fact is that when you go and you say the truth about somebody who is a dictator, a bully.
While DeSantis suggested Trump's age at 77 could present an issue and said the former president didn't keep his campaign promises, namely the southern border wall, but his critiques were few and far between compared to those he had for Haley. This led to Christie, who has based his campaign on stopping Trump from winning the nomination, to admonish his opponents.
Is he fit or isn't he? And this is the problem with my 3 colleagues. They're afraid to offend. And let me tell you something. If you're afraid to offend Donald Trump, then what are you going to do when you sit across from President Xi, you sit across from the Ayatollah, you sit across from Putin?
As moderator, Megyn Kelly pointed out in one of her first questions, Ramaswamy has not held back in his combative criticism of his fellow candidates, despite running as someone to unify the party.
By debate number 3, you called Nikki Haley corrupt, accused Ron DeSantis of wearing high heels, and told Ambassador Haley she should keep a closer eye on her daughter. Can you see how this has led some to conclude you are not, in fact, a unifier, and to question your authenticity?
Megyn, I think there's a time and place for everything. We need somebody in the White House who absolutely is going to be a fighter when it counts.
Throughout the fourth matchup, Ramaswamy mercilessly hit his opponents.
You can put lipstick on a Dick Cheney, it is still a fascist neocon.
Along with telling Christie he doesn't belong in the race.
Chris, your version of foreign policy experience was closing a bridge from New Jersey to New York. Yeah. So do everybody a favor, just walk yourself off that stage, enjoy a nice meal, and get the hell out of this race.
The issue of transgender procedures for minors was spotlighted in the matchup, like it hadn't been in any previous debate. This allowed DeSantis to call out Haley over her stances on the topic in a heated back and forth.
you can go look that up.
I signed a bathroom bill in Florida, so that's obviously
no.
not true.
So the idea that you would say that I was against that.
You didn't. You killed it. I signed it. I stood up for little girls. You didn't do it.
When Christie detailed his reasons for not supporting legislation to bar minors from getting sex change procedures, DeSantis shot back.
The minute you start to take those rights away from parents, you don't know that slippery slope, what rights are going to be taken away next, and what's going to be imposed on you.
As a parent, you do not have the right to abuse your kids. This is cutting off their genitals. This is mutilating these minors.
Ramaswamy, however, suggested DeSantis wasn't doing enough to address the issue.
Transgenderism is a mental health disorder. We don't let you smoke a cigarette by the age of 18. We don't let you have an addictive drink of alcohol by the age of 21. And I just challenge Ron DeSantis to go one step further.
Christie took significant issue with his opponents during the debate, particularly for not sufficiently or directly answering questions.
This is the problem with the first three debates. Ron gets asked a question, and he doesn't answer it. Your question was very specific. You said, would you send American troops as commander-in-chief? And he went on to this minute and 30-second hosanna about his knowledge of the military.
He additionally issued a scathing attack against Ramaswamy.
This is the fourth debate that you would be voted in the first 20 minutes as the most obnoxious blowhard in America. So shut up for a little while.
All three of Christie's opponents face a tongue lashing from him for not forcefully denouncing Trump.
At the first debate, my three colleagues on this stage, when asked if he would be convicted of federal felonies, would they still support him, raise their hand, looked into the camera, and let everybody know that they would still support him even if convicted of federal felonies. Federal felonies, by the way.